Yeah, we'll go random now. Yes, there's a gentleman there.
Alex Bleger-Momha, Spotlight de l'Union africaine des radiodiffusions, votre partenaire. Alors la question est de savoir, au-delà de cet accident, cette situation malheureuse, quel est votre regard général sur l'organisation de la compétition dans les stades et au-delà des stades?
Yeah, I think we've got to be very clear. We've got to start and say we are absolutely sad, hurt, and emotionally in a condition of pain, and we should not sidestep that issue. And the next point is we should not compromise on our insistence that appropriate measures will be taken, should be taken to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And once we've reaffirmed those two fundamental principles, we can then move on as we have to and look at the important questions you ask. And I must say that we remain absolutely committed to make sure that the very high standards that we set for ourselves. And you must understand that, you know, if you are part of a football team and your job is to be the goalkeeper, you depend on the strikers and the midfield, and you depend on the remaining 10 for the success. I mean, that's life, and that's in everything we do in society. So, I mean, sometimes I'm the goalkeeper, and I think that, you know, on my own, I constitute the 11 players, and that's not totally correct. Or I'm the striker, or I'm the midfielder, and I think I'm the, I'm the only one who should score goals. So I just want to emphasize that the success of the competition depends on us, with our partners, the government and the local organizing committee, and I remain convinced. And as I'm saying to you, we had very hard, very tough, very serious discussions, as we have to, as we are supposed to. When people lose their lives, you must be angry, and you must be impatient, and you must ask questions, and you must demand explanations, and you must demand a guarantee that it'll never happen again. We've done that. And I conclude by saying I have the comfort, and tomorrow when we meet with the leadership of the organizing committee, I will reaffirm that. But I'm going to be a little bit more paranoid. I'm very obsessive by nature, but now as we move forward, we want to see things, and I've got that commitment from the government happening in advance. This is a situation that we all of us, including the government, including the NOC, will not and do not tolerate.
So Super Sport there, the back.
Super Sport, yes, Tato.
She's been raising her.
Tato wako hai.
Dumela, President.
Wa madile naam.
President, just a question. You've spoken about going to the hearing tomorrow. Is it in your opinion that we should cap the capacity for the games for Cameroon from an 80% perhaps to a 60% like the rest of the other games?
Very good question, Tato. You see, I mean, you could even have had 100% attendance. I mean, assuming that there was no COVID-19. It's the measures you put in place to control people and control entry. And those measures were there, but we need, and the appropriate preventative steps were put in place. But the question is, why were they not functional as they were supposed to? Let me give you an example. I have been to many matches. I mean, I've owned a football club for many years. They were champions in Africa. It's owned by the family. And I love football. I'm fanatical about football. And you see how they control entry way in advance. I mean, they were telling me this morning, the first entry, you've got to show your ticket. It's good. You are far away from the stadium. You've got to show your ticket. Once you've done that, and then you've got to move on and show your COVID, the COVID-19 documentation, which is quite some distance away from the entry, and that's okay. So the processes are fine. It's like having a wonderful car, and everything is okay, but when you start it, it's not functioning as it should. And then came the problem. This gate, which was supposed to be open, if that gate was open, we wouldn't have this problem. But somebody closed it. Who closed it? On whose instructions? And when they realized that it was closed, why wasn't it opened immediately? So we'll deal with those issues. But Tato, the issue is not 80 or 60 or 100. The issue is that more people arrived than what should have, but even then, there were significant, adequate control measures in place. There are gates. You don't get past stage 1 if you don't have a ticket. You don't get past stage 2 if you don't prove that, I've been vaccinated, I've got a PCR test, and I'm COVID negative. And then comes where the accident happened, where the gate was closed, we should have been open. So we should be careful that we should put our finger on where was the deficiency, where was the failure, and not look at other issues which are not irrelevant, but which are not the circumstances that gave rise to the accident. Okay, I'm told that I must go, but let me have a few more. I'd rather arrive a little bit late there. I arrived late yesterday, so I may as well arrive a bit late today. Yes?
Okay. The gentleman next to Alu, and then afterwards we'll go behind him, and then we'll come this side.
Yeah.
Alors, merci, Monsieur le Président.
Sorry, let me just put it on. Yeah.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je suis Samuel Billon de la Radio Nationale du Cameroun. La CRTI, au-delà de l'incident d'hier, il y a des critiques formulées sur la validité des tests Covid. Au début de la CAN, on le savait, la CAF a annoncé la présence au Cameroun d'un laboratoire indépendant pour ces opérations. Est-ce que le laboratoire est là? À qui appartient la responsabilité des tests Covid? Aux délégations, parce que le Cameroun est pointé du doigt. Merci.
Yeah. Well, very, very good question. I think my Secretary General says he wants to jump, but let me just say two quick issues before he comes in. My main concern was because you need to show a negative COVID-19 test to come into the stadium, to come into the stadium, that there would be a multiplicity of improper documentations, and people would present that at the stadium. And I'm told that process, in fact, I was so pleased when the government said to me, you've got no idea. We had serious problems telling people to vaccinate. The minute we told them you cannot go to the stadium without being vaccinated, there was an abnormal uptake. I think I must tell Biden and the others the same, that tell those who go to the American football or whatever. But anyway, so that was my concern, and I think that is going well. But the Veron will tell you, because now I hear about, and of course Unilab will tell you it's world class. They are responsible for the top football confederations and clubs in the world, and that's why we brought them, so that there could be no argument that. Veron, will you answer in French, please? Not Chinese. Shady will answer in Chinese, but you answer in French.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Merci pour votre question, Monsieur. Vous rappelez lors du Tchad, il y a eu des contestations sur des contrôles Covid de certaines équipes. Par rapport au test qui a été effectué par le laboratoire domicilié ici au Cameroun. Cette fois-ci, pour éviter ces problèmes, ces suspicions de des laboratoires locaux, nous avons décidé de contracter un laboratoire indépendant, fiable, dont l'expérience n'est plus à démontrer, parce qu'il a eu la responsabilité de conduire des tests lors de l'Euro. et puis lors de la FIFA Arab Cup. Donc c'est ce laboratoire-là qui est venu ici avec ses propres matériels, qui conduit des tests pour les équipes, les joueurs et les officiels de la délégation. Quoi. Voilà,
let me tell you something quickly. Over the last few months, I've had so many, on this important question, so many presidents say to me, my national team, I don't want to mention names, went to this country. And then when they arrived at the border, they did test. And 6 of our top players who we had tested and who were negative, all of a sudden are positive. So they look and say, where's Aubameyang? Where's Sadio Mane? Where's Salah? Where's Bueno? You've got a positive test. So to make sure that there's absolutely no doubt about the independence and the impartiality and the legitimacy of the, I'll come to you, just hold on, of these tests, we gave it to an independent party organization, in which the SG correctly said, really they are amongst the best in the world. And let me say something else. You know what is weird? Some of the highest, because the players when they land here, every player when you land here, you get a test. And it's weird, but many of the positive tests, which resulted in some of the best players in the world not playing, is because they were in some parts outside Africa. And they came here with a high amount of COVID, being COVID positive. And Unilab picked it up. And of course, some of them said correctly, no. There's something wrong with this test because he comes from this wonderful country, there's no COVID. And we said, and then there's an issue. Do you have another test? And so I'm just saying that we actually found that in terms of the test, the results that we had initially, that those who came from, I don't want to mention where it was, many of the nations went there, had a high degree. And those who came from other parts of Africa, in fact, were very negative. Anyway, yes, Veron.
Je voulais juste ajouter par rapport. Je profite de la question de monsieur pour remercier sincèrement les autorités camerounaises qui ont autorisé le laboratoire Unilab de faire des gestes médicaux ici dans ce pays. Voilà.
Yeah. And I also must be careful because as much as there are things that annoy me and that I want changed, that I don't give a message that demotivates and demoralizes. We'll give the hard message privately, and of course we've got a duty to report to you, but at the same time, we still have 2 weeks to go. I need to maintain, there's a huge amount of positive attitude and positive commitment, and I really, which surpassed what my wildest expectations were, and I want to maintain that from the government, from the people, and from the LOC. Who do you want to speak now?
We'll just go this way, President, on my left, and then afterwards we go to the back. Maybe we'll take the last question in the back.
Tato, because you are from Abopane, you can ask as many questions as you want.
Oui, gentleman.
Bonjour Président et merci
Bonjour.
de répondre à nos questions. Patrick Juillard pour le site Foot 365. Plusieurs team press officers, attachés de presse des sélections, nous ont confirmé avoir reçu dimanche en fin de journée un nouveau règlement médical comportant des changements sur le retour des joueurs du Covid. Mais on n'a pas vraiment eu de clarification sur le contenu de ce nouveau règlement et on ne sait pas vraiment ce qui a changé. Les Comores disent que c'est pour cette raison qu'ils n'ont pu aligner Ali Ahamada puisqu'il n'avait pas fait 5 jours de quarantaine après son premier test positif. Pouvez-vous nous dire si le règlement a changé et si maintenant tout joueur ayant été testé positif devra avoir fait 5 jours de quarantaine au moins avant de pouvoir rejouer? Pour finir, je rappelle qu'au premier tour, le sélectionneur du Gabon, Patrice Neveu, avait pu être assis sur le banc au lendemain de son test négatif après avoir été positif pendant 24 heures. Donc quelle est maintenant la règle et qu'est-ce qui a changé précisément? Merci.
Yeah. I think Veron will answer that. Let me just say quickly, tomorrow we will tell you about the matches that we are going to rearrange. Samson, where are you? In terms of the proposal, just remind me, because this is my proposal to EXCO tomorrow. Just repeat. Because we are going to, just give it to Samson. There's the mic. Because we are going to not allow the next game at Olembe to proceed, and there's going to be a rearrangement of some of those fixtures. So I'm going to be asking for permission from the organizing committee tomorrow. So I just thought you can say to them, just announce them so that at least people are aware.
Okay, President, thank you. And the proposal that will be put to the organizing committee is for the match number 47 that was supposed to take place in Olembe.
Can you stand up so that they can see you? And maybe if you stand in front, they can hear you better and take the mask off. Yeah.
Okay, so the proposal is for the match number 47 that was supposed to be played in Olembe to be moved to Ahmadu Ahidjo, and match number 48 will be moved to Limbe.
Yeah, now, who's number 48 and number 448? I mean, who do we know? The ones we know. Are there some we know already? Because we know one team, but we don't know the others.
We don't know the others. So the match number 47 is the winner of match number 43, which is between the winner of Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt versus the winner.
My Egyptian relatives were saying they were going to win, and the Cote d'Ivoire relatives said, no, they are definitely going to win.
And the second team is a match that will be played today here in Ahmadu Ahidjo.
Okay.
Morocco,
so
Malawi.
Just repeat again, match, because people don't understand.
Match number 47 that was supposed to be played in Olembe will be moved to Ahmadu Ahidjo, which is going to be between the winners of the match today between Morocco, Malawi, and the match tomorrow of Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt. So instead of it being played in Olembe, it will be played in Ahmadu Ahidjo.
Okay. Is that the only thing?
That's the only thing. And then the match number 48 will be moved to Limbe, and this one is the match that involves the team between Senegal and Cape Verde, or the winners of Mali, Guinea Equatorial.
Yeah. Okay, so just this is the advice I've received, and I've also sought the guidance of my vice presidents, and we'll be putting that tomorrow to the organizing committee for them to. And in fact, we're already sending out some of the notices today. Okay. So I just thought to alert you. Sorry, Brown.
Okay, merci, Président. Merci, Monsieur, pour votre question. L'état du Gabon dont vous parlez tout à l'heure, je n'ai pas connaissance de ça. La commission médicale a décidé de réajuster le règle. Une de ces règles qu'il a réajustées, c'est après avoir été testé positif, après 5 jours, on fait des tests cardiovasculaires. Donc, après 5 jours de confinement, si vous êtes négatif, on fait des tests cardiovasculaires pour pouvoir vous permettre de jouer. C'est ça juste l'ajustement qu'ils ont fait. Mais ce qui était plus important, c'est faire ces tests cardiovasculaires, parce que après Covid, on ne peut pas laisser des joueurs aller sur le terrain comme ça et puis il y a des problèmes cardiaques. C'était juste ça. Mais le jeu du gardien, de l'entraîneur gabonais, je ne suis pas au courant. Merci.
Yeah. Okay, now I hope you can hear me, the lady who's translating. You are doing such a wonderful job. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm sometimes not so fortunate. Sometimes my translator says, they said I must go to China when actually they said I must go to America, but you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you. Okay, now I'm in serious trouble now because we should have left quite some time ago. So I hope you don't mind that we try and take a few small and rush out. And if there's the CAF Communications Department is there. If there's any questions, including the Secretary General, please feel free. And we are duty bound to respond at all times. So let's just take the last 3, okay?
Ed?
My name is Ed Dove from ESPN.
Sorry, just my apologies. I think your mic.
Sorry, Ed, if you can just let's lift your voice a little bit, mate.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yesterday we saw mothers who lost sons. Today there will be classmates who have lost their friends from school. Some people may say there's not quite the appetite for this festival of football anymore. Personally, was there any deliberation on your part about cancelling the whole tournament or calling off the Nations Cup at this stage? Has that been talked about at all after what happened yesterday?
Ed, very good question, And the issue was, should we postpone today's matches? And it's a very important question. And there are certain things where there's a from my side, there's a duty not just to consult, but also to listen to the guidance of various stakeholders. And the conclusion was we should observe the moment of silence. One of the specific questions is, should we today's matches? Should we start with today's matches? And it was indeed an issue that we had to discuss and consider. And I mean, it's incredible how some of the people who are injured, two of them were saying they can't wait to get out of hospital and go to the stadium. And just on a positive note, as painful and as sad as today is, I spent more than 2 hours just stuck in the traffic, and I really saw the passion, the absolute passion of the people of Cameroon, and the love they have for football. Now, I come from a country where, you know, we were separated based on race, and we always knew the power of sports, and specifically, we always knew the power of football. I mean, I was in the stadium with my wife when Nelson Mandela was wearing the tray of the jersey of the captain of the rugby, and that was a source of deep division. And I mean, I grew up in a country where blacks were not allowed to play football with whites when we were children, and of course, when we played football together and could go to school together, we are all God's children. And the beauty is, you know, those who are green, yellow, black, that's the beauty of all of us. And that's why the question that Ed asked is something that we have to consider. Two final questions quickly before we go.
All right, we'll take...
So the point I was just making is that football really brings people together. And the passion for football in this country is so entrenched and deep-rooted.
All right, we'll go this way. Then we go, last question will be this side.
Okay.
Sorry, madam. Excuse me, madam. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. My name is Mo Brian. I am a sport journalist for Kick 44 from Cameroon. I want to begin by commending the numerous efforts taken by the African Football Confederation to ensure that we have an amazing and fabulous soccer showpiece. Okay, my question is, now you visited the victims, and so what is the take-home message that will leave this conference room to transmit onto the relatives, our friends, our neighbors? Thank you very much.
It's a very, very good question. And I think the first thing is to say our deepest condolences to those who've passed on. And we're already sending out, communicating with the families as CAF to contact them. And even those who were injured, the message was, we want to be there for you and provide whatever support and encouragement that we can. But the other message as well is to say that we take account of the important role that football plays. I mean, one of the prominent people told me at the stadium that today it doesn't matter which religion you belong to. Today we are all put together by football. Now, I work with all religious organizations because I am what I am because of the support I've received from, you know, Christians, Muslims, Jews, and across the board. So I've got a huge bond and an obligation to all religious organizations. But they also said that today, whatever political divisions exist amongst all of us, we are all Cameroonians. And the third thing they said, which was also important, is whatever uprisings, fights, and I know there were parts where they say that there's Amazonia or Amazonia, that when there's a football match, they stop a little bit and watch the football, and then afterwards they. So I'm just saying that the message to all of our people is, and again, on a positive note, because whilst we are dealing with the pain that we feel, we also have to deal with the obligations we have to all our people. But to say that we've taken note of the huge, the love that our people have for football and the role that football plays in bringing people together of all backgrounds on the continent, in Cameroon, in Africa, but also worldwide. People from Europe and Africa, Asia and Africa, South America and Africa. That's the beauty of football. Okay, I'm told that I must now. There's one more. Okay, I'm told that we are available to deal with all questions later. And let me just repeat what I said at the beginning. From day one, I was asking the media to be our eyes and ears. And if you see any failures and deficiencies on our side, please let us know. Because, an independent and a critical media is beneficial. And Nelson Mandela said, I'd much rather have a media that embarrasses me all the time than a media that is not free to ask the questions that they want to. So please, I can't agree more with what he said. We've got to encourage, in Africa in particular and worldwide, that our media feels free to interrogate, and we have to support them and create an environment that allows you to do your work. Thank you so much. And I will not be having another press conference until the end. So we will be dealing rather with media releases and statements, but I don't think we'll have another press conference like this between today. I will have a press conference at the end when the AFCON is over, so that you can then tell us your assessment. And as I said, as well as your areas of perceived weaknesses on our side and areas where we can improve. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so very much, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, President, and thank you, Vice President and the GS. And
so we've got to go very fast now, eh? Very fast.